For Victims and Villains, my name is Josh.
And I'm Ashley.
Today we are heading into D-Day. This is Pressure. If you guys have not checked out our official spoiler-free review on Pressure, click the links up here to check it out. We're getting ready to dive into the mental health aspects of this movie and mental health themes. And we will be diving into spoilers, so if you guys haven't seen it yet, click the links in the show notes below to check out our mental health resource library for one, and for two, check out the local listings to check out Pressure in your area. This is your official spoiler warning.
One of the big things that stood out for me, of course, I think it's just one of those ones my brain always kind of picks out. It is isolationism. We see it right away. Stag is right from the get-go in the opening. We see him making breakfast for his wife and her saying, "Do you have time?" And he said, "Yes." And then we flash forward to him kind of at the command center and him trying to dial out to his wife. We see his wife is pregnant, and we really get a sense of, no, sir, you are isolated out here. They are not your priority. You are here. You are here to do your job, and you have to focus on that. And we see how isolated he is, that it isn't until an urgent message comes through that the hospital that his wife is at has been bombed. The hospital where his pregnant wife was due to give birth has now been bombed. This is in the middle of trying to figure out whether it's a go or no-go for D-Day. We see that even with the most isolation, you can still stand firm in your opinions and in your actions and in your views, and that's what Stag did. And then we see it again when we hear that 35,000 troops are just waiting to be given the order. There are 35,000 troops that know what the D-Day plan is. They just do not know their actual date that D-Day will be happening. And I think when you think about that, originally D-Day was supposed to be several days earlier than what we do know D-Day as today. And I think, when you think of all of these young men who, most of them had just hit that draft age, being put in this impossible situation, but also being told everything's on hold, that you cannot leave your shift, you cannot leave your barracks, you cannot leave wherever you are currently stationed. Everyone is on standstill. Everything is locked, awaiting for Eisenhower's call. And we even see that all of that falls on Eisenhower. He himself says that whether it fails or is a success, it falls on him and him alone. And we see the isolation within himself as well because of the practice, Operation Tiger, which was the D-Day practice, where got one thing wrong and the entire operation caused several hundreds of lives lost.
I think for someone like me that is not at all a history buff or has any ties to the historical drama or film subgenres of either action or drama, whichever you would like to classify Pressure in, I think for me the mental health theme that really struck out was the way that this film strikes anxiety, and specifically kind of talks about the way that isolation kind of, you have a lot of this uncertainty. And from someone that struggles very religiously with anxiety, and specifically having the anxiety of the unknown, right? Like, the anxiety is fear of the future, it's fear of things that have not quite come in yet. I think when you match that with the way this film addresses isolation, and it's almost kind of like each one of these key players has their own isolation that they're going through, right? Where it's like, Stag doesn't know if his wife is either alive or dead. Same with his newborn son. Then you have Eisenhower that is unsure whether or not things are going to go according to plan, and so he's kind of bunkered down. And then you have all of these myriad of troops that are essentially waiting for kind of that, and all of that stuff is just kind of held in anxiety. And I think it's kind of one of those. I think kind of going off of a lot of Stagg's character arcs throughout the course of this journey has been specifically to hold true and remain calm, remain in the faith. And even if you don't have faith in a religious figure, but also just kind of remaining calm, still, whatever you choose to put hope in is what is going to allow you to outlast the storm that anxiety brings. So if you or someone you know is struggling with suicide, addiction, self-harm, or depression, please click the links in our show notes below. Suicide is currently the 11th leading cause of death, with over 49,000 people that died by suicide in 2024, with another 1.6 million people that attempted suicide that same year as well. You are not alone, and this is the reason we make the content that we do. So please click the links in our show notes below to check out our mental health resource library. Pressure is now playing in theaters everywhere from Focus Features. Make sure that you guys click the show notes below to check out where it is playing in your current area. But until next time, remember to stay classy,